Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to live Q&A here at Trauma Recovery University. This is the global community for adult survivors of trauma, any type of complex trauma that happens over a long period of time. And you could be living with PTSD symptoms, you could be living with anxiety, terror, ongoing feelings of unworthiness or frustration or unsureness or fear, constant fear, hypervigilance, dread, imposter syndrome. These are all things that may or may not have been caused by childhood trauma, ongoing childhood trauma in the form of abuse or neglect. And this is a place where we all come every single week and we hang out and we discuss ways to create a healthy lifestyle in the aftermath of PTSD and complex trauma. So I am trying to talk as loud as I possibly can tonight. Let me scoot closer to the microphone if I possibly can. My voice is not what I would like for it to be. My voice is, it just won't come back, you guys. If you've been here for a while on the channel, you know that I've been sort of battling upper respiratory infection, and I'm fighting the urge to go to the doctor and get diagnosed with something that I think is bronchitis, and it's just something that will not leave me. So if you cannot hear me, I will do my best to talk louder, or maybe you could turn the volume up a little bit. I want to say hello to Matt, hello to Guayanes, hello to Monica, hello to all of you. A very special welcome to I Still Found Hope and Lynn Kent, who are here for the very first time tonight. Very special hello and thank you to John Harvey. All of you guys sending in your questions, thank you so much. This is a place for all of us to ask questions and get answers to our questions. And my mouse has died, so I'm going to go ahead and try not to hit the microphone while I'm going up here and helping you guys. Let me see here. I have a screen share for you guys. We're going to recap a little bit of last week, and then we're also going to just dive right into this week. So I have crisis care information. This is not crisis care. If you're in crisis, please step away from the chat. If you're on a replay and you're not here live and you're in crisis, please just press pause and text the word START to 741741 to the crisistextline.org, or you can reach out to our friends at RAIN 1-800-656-HOPE. If you're located in the UK, you can email Joe, J-O, at samaritans.org. And our friends up in Canada, Stuart at the Gatehouse, you can reach out to the Gatehouse. I don't know their number, their information by heart. I know that John Harvey and a whole bunch of other people in the chat, including Poppy and a whole bunch of our friends over in the chat box right now. If you're on a replay, enable the chat. And if you're here live, we have friends over in the chat box that are going to be sharing out that crisis information that I put in there before the replay. Very special thank you to Poppy, who is stepping up, and she's going to become our Monday intern, who will be in charge of posting all of the crisis care information in the chat box during the live stream, so that you guys will always have access to it. Again, this is not a place to receive professional care. These are YouTube videos. This is just me sitting in my makeshift office, which also happens to be my bedroom, in a very small apartment across the ocean, sharing with you what worked for me in my 17-year healing journey from complex trauma and PTSD. So definitely not professional care. And I want you guys to receive the level of care that you deserve. So please, please, please just keep that in mind. And if you're triggered at any time, please just step away and receive the care that you deserve. No need to seek crisis care on the chat or in the comments box below, because this is definitely not the place for that. And while I love to provide support for every single one of you guys week after week after week, and I've been doing this for over 4 years, which I love, doesn't feel, I just want to always, always remind you that you deserve excellent care. You deserve excellent care. Get the excellent care that you deserve, okay? Because we're worth it. And it's available to you. There are free and affordable resources for everyone in the whole world. And I just want to make sure you guys are getting the care you deserve, okay? Because you deserve to heal. Now, I am going to be sniffling or coughing or both, and possibly becoming very annoying in the microphone by doing those things in your ear. So thank you in advance for any thumbs up that you decide to give this video. If this video ends up being helpful for you, thank you for subscribing to this channel and clicking the little bell so that you're notified every single time I decide to go live on the channel and provide resources for PTSD and complex trauma. So without further ado, I want to want to show you something that was posted last week. Now, as you know, we're continuing our series on the topic of how to know when someone is safe versus someone who's toxic or manipulative or unsafe. And this is really, really, really important, you guys. We need to know. No one's in charge of telling us. No one's in charge of teaching us as adults. That it was people's job to teach us this stuff when we were younger, and if they did or they didn't, they did or they didn't. Doesn't matter now. Now it's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to me to know how to proceed in life. It's up to me to figure out if people are safe. It's my job now that I'm an adult to make sure that I know who's safe and who is unsafe. And the only way for me to do that is sometimes through trial and error, sometimes making mistakes with people who are unsafe and then realizing, oh, I noticed these characteristics were present in that particular person. I'm going to keep those things in mind for next time. And I'm going to proceed in life and hopefully not see those characteristics again. And then when I do, or if I do see those characteristics again, then it's my job to go, these are some characteristics that I remember were a part of that unsafe person that I was involved with previously. So no one's going to do it for us. No one's going to heal for us. No one's going to point out and give us a hand and tell us if they're safe or unsafe. It's all on us, which is why I love putting out this content for you guys, because you guys need to know who is safe and who is unsafe. This is important. People who were abused or trafficked when they were younger, people who were exploited, people who were bullied, people who were neglected, not taken care of, or otherwise messed up by their family of origin or people close to them, sometimes were so busy surviving that they didn't have time to figure out the subtle nuances of people's communication and the things going on in the world. When we're so busy surviving and trying to figure out like how to get food or how to stay safe or how to navigate, you know, if dad's going to be angry or if mom's going to throw things or if Uncle Joe's going to drink one too many beers or if grandpa's going to act weird again or if my sister's not going to show up and then everybody's going to be upset and then middle of the night people are going to be slamming doors or if there's going to be screaming and yelling or if I'm going to get in trouble for something that I didn't do. Like these are all subtle things and big things that might not seem big when we're little because all we know when we're little is that this is life. We don't know, you know, my parents are going through a bit of a midlife crisis right now and they have their hands full with my sister and they really should not have let grandpa stay with us and Uncle Joe needs to not have a key to the house. Like we don't know how to figure those things out when we're younger. And we're so busy navigating all the grown-up problems when we're younger that we don't have time to be a kid and learn how to develop. So that's where we get the term arrested development. Your development as a child could have been arrested or withheld from you, or you could have been being held back from what you should have been learning, which is how to be a kid and how to have healthy life skills. Now, if you didn't get all those healthy life skills, one of them being how to discern who's safe and who's not safe. And you learn things through trial and error. The best time to do trial and error is when you're a kid and you have your parents there to lovingly pick you up after you skin your knee, or help you out when you run all your credit cards up when you're 17, 18 years old and you first learn what credit is. Or when you're younger, it's when your family can step in and go, I know you thought that dropping out of college was a really good idea, but now you see that it's really, really hard out there. And so why don't you move back in with us for 6 months? You can pay us just a little bit of rent and you can get back on your feet and you can learn about life again. Not all of us had those types of luxuries. And if you didn't have those types of luxuries and you had to figure life out on your own from the time you were 4 years old, then you could be on this channel wondering, like, why has my life been so hard? Why have I not been able to balance a checkbook or have good credit or buy a house or be in a healthy, safe relationship or hold down a job? And all of those things may or may not be due to the fact that you could have been experiencing arrested development. In other words, handling all the adult problems instead of learning how to be a kid and then grow up and be an adult once you're an adult. So all of this stuff is on us. It's our responsibility. And these are not the things that you want to hear. You want to hear that someone's going to rescue us. Someone's going to complete us. Someone's going to come along and be our better half and do all the things that were never done for us. But that usually doesn't happen. It didn't happen for me, and it didn't happen for a lot of people I know. Did it happen for some people? Sure, like that did happen for some people. Some people have the knight in shining armor. Some people have the rags to riches story that included people coming along that were benefactors and wonderful people to contribute into their lives. Yet other people had to figure it all out on their own. And if that's you and you've had to figure all this crap out on your own, then I want to help. And this channel has helped a lot of people. Thousands and thousands and thousands of you have learned how to navigate adult life when you didn't know how to do that before. And so the reason I'm going on and on and on about this, you guys, is there was a really key comment. I normally don't go back and listen to the videos. I normally don't go back. Confession. I normally don't go back and listen to myself talk for an hour because it makes me want to vomit. Like, I don't want to hear my own voice for an hour. I don't know how you guys put up with it, like, every single week, seriously. But, like, try listening to yourself for an hour every week. Like, that would not, I don't think you would like it. Like, you can listen to other people, but not you. Like, I don't like listening to myself talk. So anyway, I went back and I listened to the video from last week. And I wanted to check the chat box. I wanted to figure out, one of our community members says, I see the lamp over here. Oh, by the way, sad face, the lamp broke. Like, I accidentally knocked it over and all of my beautiful starfish and like glass everywhere, and I cut my foot and it was just a big mess. My husband was so sweet. Anyway, the lamp broke. So one of our community members, Declan, said, I see the lamp on the right and I see the chat box on the left. And so I guess the chat box isn't over here. I guess the chat box is over here. And if you're on mobile, then the chat box is like all over in the middle, perhaps. And if you're on a replay, then you'll just be in the comments down below. Anyway, it caused me to want to go and just check and see like where the chat box was. And I wanted to see the conversation going on with all of you guys. And I love seeing how you guys like support one another and just care for one another. It's miraculous to me. It's amazing to me how kind you guys are to one another. It's amazing. So I saw a comment pop up. And I was like, that is on topic. And that's something I need to address in next week's video. So I took a screenshot of it. I'm going to share it with you right now. And we're going to have a discussion about it. Then we're going to answer the questions and go through the screen share. And we're going to talk about safe people traits and unsafe people traits. But first, I want to share with you the comment that was made by someone last week who I won't talk about. I blocked out their name and their avatar because I didn't get their permission. I just thought this is a great thing to talk about, so why not talk about it? So really quickly, my mouse isn't working. I gotta go up here. I'm gonna find, let's see. Okay. Let me know when you can see it. There should be a little angel. You guys should be able to see that now. So what this person said last week in the chat box was, I fear online support because it feels like possible grooming by strangers. And I just want to say thank you to this person who put this comment in the chat box last week. Because let me tell you, you guys, this is something that we need to learn on our own. I am not going to tell you that online support is always safe. I am going to tell you that I do my very best for this particular online support, or my online support, to be safe. And if you're unfamiliar with the word grooming, Harriet, if you could pop up the video that I did with Bobby a few years ago on the topic of grooming in child abuse, so that you guys can familiarize yourself with what grooming is. And then Harriet, also there's a 2-hour special on the topic of predators. And we talk a lot about grooming in the predators video. So if we could go like boom, 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 like both of those videos or both of those YouTube cards, that would be amazing. And then link those down below for the people on the replay. So grooming, you guys, is when we're sort of lured in and our needs are met, because everybody has needs, and our needs are met. And then once our needs are met, then we're sort of sucked into a, well, you don't want your needs to not be met, do you? And then you get manipulated. Manipulative people manipulate you into doing things that perhaps you don't want to do, or that perhaps no one should be doing. I mean, let's be real. So I wanted to point that out, and I wanted to remind you guys to be mindful. Yes, the irony does not escape me. I'm a person online providing support, and yet I'm telling you to be careful, because the big bad internet could have people that are scary, and, like, you know, they could be grooming you for predatory purposes. I'm not grooming you for predatory purposes, but you shouldn't take my word for it. You should get to know me. You should watch the hundreds of hours of videos that we have on this channel. And you should, you know, request to be welcomed into our free online support groups if that's something that you're looking for. And you need to judge for yourself if they are safe or if they're unsafe, if you're being groomed for predatory purposes, or if it's just a place where, well, I'll just be real. Like, the reason that we created what we created is because it didn't exist. And there was a need. There was a need for so many people. There were so many of us showing up online every week, and we're like, why is this once a week? Like, let's do more. And so we did more, and then 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 we had groups, and now it's daily. Now it's 24/7, 365, everybody on Facebook, and we're all in these secret groups that are, Facebook calls them secret. Secret sounds like an unsafe word, so I'm just gonna call them safe groups. And secret meaning that no one can see who's in the groups, no one can see the names of the groups. You have to be personally invited and personally welcomed in by someone who's been vetted by me personally. And it's as safe is gonna get, as far as I'm concerned, like, in my opinion, of someone who has been online. So it's important, though. Like, I really want to drive home what this person is saying. This is a very real concern that I want you guys to keep in mind. This person fears online support because it feels like possible grooming by strangers. And, you know, you guys, it very well could be. It very well could be. When you are in an online atmosphere, no one has to be who they say they are. So please be mindful, and please learn characteristics of safe people versus unsafe people, which brings me to the next screen share, and then I'm going to answer all your questions. Hooray. Okay, so for 5 minutes, I'm going to do the screen share, and then for 30 minutes, I'm going to answer all your questions. Here we go. This is week 2. This is week 2. Can you see this? week 2. Make sure you guys can see this. Yay. Okay. So this is week 2, traits of unsafe or manipulative people. This is the website you can go to if you want to receive information on healing from PTSD and complex trauma. You go to cptsdfoundation.org. That's our website. And you may email Lisa at cptsdfoundation.org if you would like to be welcomed into one of our online safe groups. They are always free. You can also ask Lisa about daily recovery support calls, which are coming soon. And those will be daily, 24/7, not 24/7. They will be 365 days a year. They will be for an hour a day. And they will be from myself and a whole bunch of different helping professionals that are experts in either neurolinguistic programming, EMDR, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy. You can talk to trauma recovery coaches, to licensed clinical social workers, to master's level therapists, marriage and family therapists, people who do art therapy and different expressive modalities, all kinds of different things. We're going to have different people all the time, and it's going to be 365 days a year for an hour a day, every day. And it's just a place where you'll be able to receive the support you deserve. So feel free to email Lisa if that's something you're interested in. Those groups will not be free. They will start out at $20 a month. Will go up to $50 a month and will remain at $50 a month for the remainder of 2018. And if you lock in at $20 a month, you stay at $20 a month forever. You lock in at $50 a month, you stay at $50 a month forever. And then it will raise after 2018. So everything else I do is free. Tonight's topic: how to know if someone you meet is safe, like a little angel person here, or manipulative. So let's once again quickly clarify the definition of manipulative and look for other definitions or synonyms for the word manipulative: characterized by unscrupulous control of a situation or person. She was sly, selfish, and manipulative. And then some synonyms are scheming, calculating, cunning, crafty, wily, shrewd, devious, designing, conniving, Machiavellian, artful, guileful, slippery, slick, sly, unscrupulous, disingenuous, or foxy. So really quickly to recap from last week, some characteristics of unsafe or manipulative people. Manipulative and unsafe people have it all together instead of admitting their weaknesses. They are extremely religious and legalistic and dogmatic instead of being spiritual. There's no space here. Let's fix that. It's going to drive me crazy. Unsafe and manipulative people can be defensive instead of open to feedback. They act self-righteous instead of humble. They only apologize when they're wrong instead of actually changing their behavior. They avoid working on their problems instead of dealing with them honestly. They demand your trust instead of earning it. They believe they are perfect instead of admitting their faults. They blame others instead of taking responsibility for their thoughts and actions. They lie instead of tell the truth. And they remain stagnant in life instead of growing. So it's your turn over in the chat box if you're here live, or down below in the comments if you're on a replay. What other unsafe or manipulative characteristics would you add to this list? And as always, please participate and add to this discussion by typing in the chat box to the right. If you are here for our live weekly discussion, or maybe it's to the left. Maybe the chat box is to the left. I can never tell you guys. I'm so sorry. I'll just put, you know what? I'll just put to the chat box because I just don't know if you're here for the live weekly discussion, or down in the comment section below if you are watching a replay as I bump and knock things off my desk. So a good rule of thumb here, you guys, is that healthy and safe people are continually seeking personal growth. And it is always good to ask ourselves if we are continually seeking personal growth. And if we are not, for some reason, continually seeking personal growth, then a good follow-up question would be, why am I not continually seeking personal growth? This could be for a number of different reasons, you guys. This is not a source of shame. This is not anyone shaming you for not being in a place of continually seeking personal growth. If you're still in survival mode, if you're still living with your abuser, if you're in an abusive situation, if you're living in a toxic environment where you're constantly being gaslit or manipulated or tricked or exploited or abused or blamed, these are all things that need to come to an end as soon as possible so that you can be in a place where you're truly living, and then you can be seeking personal growth. You deserve that. You deserve that healthy life. You deserve to enjoy life. You deserve to create a life you love. And I'm here to help you do that as much as I possibly can. I can't do it for you. I wish I could, but I can show you the way. I can just show you what I've done. So remember to email Lisa at cptsdfoundation.org if you would like to be welcomed into one of our free online virtual safe communities. They're always free and always will be free. Always, let's put always will be free. Also, be sure to ask Lisa about daily recovery support calls coming soon. It's okay to pause right now and send Lisa an email so you can finally receive the daily support you deserve. So let's talk, you guys. Let's see what you added to the list. What are some character traits that are unsafe or manipulative that you would add to that list besides the ones that I mentioned? You guys added some great ones last week. You asked excellent questions last week. I'm going to just check in and see what questions you're asking this week. Again, thank you to Dana. I still found hope. Poppy, John Harvey, Monica, Guayanas. Heroes don't wear capes. Willow. And then if I get a chance to answer the off-topic questions, I'll answer the off-topic questions. So if someone could let everyone know that I'll do my best to answer questions that are off-topic, but if I don't get to them tonight, I will answer them as soon as I can, or refer you to a video that I've done on one of those topics. So Guayana says, my question is, why does it feel some of these unsafe people seem to be able to smell out or know when someone has been abused in the past? This is such a great question, Guayana, because to be quite honest, they can. We are targets to predators simply by the way we show up in the world. Because if you've been beaten down long enough, you've been treated poorly long enough, you've been treated in a way that causes shame long enough, then your countenance is different. You are not let me just point this back at me, shall we? I would show up in the world differently. Simply by the way I entered a room, I would have been targeted. I was targeted by abusive or toxic people. Perfect example is when I met one of the most abusive boyfriends I ever had. My husband had just left me, my high school sweetheart that I had been dating since I was 14. We got engaged when we were 17, got married at 18 because we knew everything, had a baby at 19, again, because we knew everything. And then I was a single mom by the time I was 20. So I wasn't quite 20 yet. I was still 19, and my son's dad had just cheated on me again with someone that I had invited to his birthday party, his surprise party that I threw for him for his 19th birthday. And I was devastated. And one of my girlfriends from elementary, junior high, and high school invited me to go meet up with her at a friend's house. She was going to pick me up, my son and I, pick us up. He was just a tiny little baby at the time, and take me over to her friend's house, who was going to be installing some stereo equipment on her car. So I show up with her, and mind you, my husband just left me, cheated on me, told me I was a worthless piece of shit and that I was fat, ugly, and used up because every other girl my age had better bodies, had a better body, and everything was better about them because they weren't used up and disgusting like I was, because I had just had a baby at 19, or like on my 19th birthday pretty much. So I was pretty beaten down, and I showed up at this place where the stereo equipment was going to be being installed in my friend's car, and there happened to be someone there in the backyard building a shed. Their father's company owns the shed company. They were contracted to come out and build a shed in this person's backyard to store all of this stereo equipment. It was a very fancy shed, like the kind that had like an alarm system and, locks and, all kinds, like an actual like proper shed, not just one of those flimsy things you like knock down or something. So the person building the shed spotted me from a mile away. I felt very flattered, of course, because I was fat, ugly, and used up, and no one would like me ever again, remember? And so I sort of showed up looking down with a different countenance, looking very insecure, taking care of a baby. I was obviously very young. I mean, I looked very young for 19. I probably looked 15. I still get carded occasionally. You wouldn't think so, but like I got carded well into my 30s. I looked very young for 19. And so this person was younger than me, and was hitting on me and like very interested in me, and gave me his number, and I was very flattered. And he was so cute. So cute. But sadly, the way I showed up in the world fit what he was looking for perfectly, because he was looking for someone to manipulate, to control, to dominate, to own, basically. Had I shown up like, ooh, hello everybody, what's up? I'm here. Like if I would have shown up like a confident person, like my friend was very confident, like all the time. Like, I mean, she had gone through crazy things, but she just always had self-confidence, always. Like she was just the most confident person ever. And just exuded self-confidence, which is probably why I liked to hang out with her, because I felt more confident just being around her. Like it sort of got on me. But that is the reason, probably not the answer you wanted to hear, but that is the reason unsafe people can smell it out, because we look different. We smell different. When sometimes unsafe people, this is going to be triggering, trigger warning. Sometimes unsafe people will stare at you like, with like a look, like a stare, and if I just freaked any of you guys out, I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to, but that's why I said trigger warning. They'll stare at someone until that person meets their eye. Wait for it. Don't miss this. Please just don't miss this. This is the most, if you take nothing away from this entire video, take what I'm about to tell you and then turn off the video and go enjoy your life, okay? I'm gonna tell you this right now. Predatory people stare, okay? Guess what a healthy person does when someone is staring at them? Someone with good self-confidence, someone that's healthy, they're going about their business or whatever, and then they look up and they realize someone's staring at them, and they go, and then they move on with their life. Like, what are you staring at is what's going through their head. Like, that's weird. You're weird. And then they move on with their life. When a self-conscious, porous ego boundary, beaten down to the core, not confident, insecure, abused, barely surviving, only by a heartbeat person like me sees someone staring at them, they're like, someone's noticing me. Oh my gosh. And so I'm going about my business, taking care of my baby, and I look up and someone's staring at me, and I stare back like, oh, hello. Healthy, and this isn't a hard and fast rule, but please just check yourself before you wreck yourself. Ask yourself right now, am I the type of person that's going about my business, notices someone staring at me, and is like, oh, are you staring at me? Or are you going about your business and then you notice someone staring at you and you're like, weird, and you move on with your life? Which is it? Again, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because I'll tell you this right now, they find us. They find us because we don't know that it's creepy for people to stare at us. Likely because when we were younger, people stared at us all the time. And if we said anything like, creepy, weird, why are you staring at me? Then we probably got the shit beat out of us. Or you better wipe that look off your face or I'll knock you clear into next week. Or something other super shitty and horrible that our family decided to make up. So I'm just telling you right now, there you go. There's the gold. There's the nuggets. Like, take what I just gave you and go run on with your life and like be healthy and don't let people stare at you. And you will hopefully not ever be, taken advantage of again. But if you want to continue with the video, I'm going to answer everybody else's question. But the short answer is they can smell us. We act different than other people. We don't act the same as people that have solid ego boundaries. We don't act the same as people that weren't beaten down from the time they were little, verbally, emotionally, physically, and otherwise. We act differently. We act like we are beaten down physically, emotionally, and otherwise from the time we were little. That's how we act. We respond to attention gratefully, like, oh, they're noticing me. Oh my goodness. Because oftentimes we're always invisible unless someone wants something from us. We're invisible unless someone needs something from us. We're invisible or we're treated shittily unless someone needs us to do something for them. But think about any time anyone in your entire family, if you're on this YouTube channel, anyone in your entire family or surrounded you, looked at you and sort of stared at you, and that didn't end poorly. Like, if you can figure out a time that that didn't end poorly, then congratulations, you win the gold star. Because every time anyone ever stared at me or looked at me with a nice look on their face, that was basically, that was a precursor to something that I didn't want to happen. And so this is a new person, and they're acting in a way that is familiar to me, but nothing bad's happening. They just seem to like me. This must be the one. This must be the answer to everything I've always been wanting, because they're not yelling at me, exploiting me, hitting me, treating me poorly or anything. All they want to do is give me their phone number. All they want to do is call me sometime. All they want to do is take me out on a date. All they want to do is invite me over to meet their parents. All they want to do is fill in the blank. And it's not, beat, torture, yell, scream, blame me for everything. And so they do smell us. They're able to see us by the way we show up in the world. So I wish someone would have taught me this when I was like 10 or 11 or 12 or 20 or 30 or 40. But no one taught me. I had to learn it the hard way. So great question. And it deserved a long answer because, man, that's the $1 million question right there, Guayanes. That's the $1 million question right there. Like, they should be teaching this stuff in school. Like, instead of whatever ed is going on, like home ec and da-da-da, and whatever ed that's going on, like, they should be teaching this stuff. How to avoid predators, how to act when someone's staring at you creepily, or smiling at you or flirting with you and you don't know them, like how to respond like a confident person. Like, excuse me, what's your problem and what are you looking at? Like, because what's basically going on, I know I need to stop talking at some point and answer the rest of the questions, but this is super effing important, you guys. What's basically going on when that boy was staring at me, I had no boundaries. He could tell I had no boundaries. He could stare at me as much as he wanted. He could undress me with his eyes or whatever he was doing as much as he wanted, because I didn't have the wherewithal or the boundaries to be like, do you mind? Like, take a picture, it'll last longer. What are you staring at? Like, if I would have said that, do you honestly think he would have given me his number? Do you honestly think he would have proceeded to lure me in and be abusive towards me and be a toxic person in my life for the next 14 years? Probably not. Probably not. But I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't have anybody teaching me right from wrong. So, man, that would have been something I would have loved to have known back then, you know? Monica says, how can we work through our fears of being vulnerable when we have been abused and manipulated into the abuse cycle in the past? Great question, Monica. I would say the best way to work through our fears of being vulnerable is to learn to trust yourself. And the way you can learn to trust yourself is by remaining true to yourself, remaining in alignment with what you believe in, not going outside of the alignment of what it is that you believe in. If you're a person that values honesty, remain honest all the time. If you're a person that has a great respect for eating healthy, like I know you do, then don't choose to eat in a really unhealthy way. If you're a person that really honors and values chastity and perhaps not having sex before you're married, then that would be something that you would wait on, and you wouldn't waver on those things that you feel strongly about. So that's called remaining congruent with yourself. So Harriet, if you could pop up the video, Harriet, on I think it's like learning to trust yourself through congruence, or no. It's called healing our intuition through congruence. When we're congruent, when we're in alignment with ourselves, then we are able to trust ourselves, and we can show up and we can be vulnerable because we automatically know that we have what it takes to create safety in our lives. We have an automatic system in place that throws up a warning sign. Oh, that person's toxic. Oh, this feels familiar. Don't go that way. Or, gosh, that's a little bit of a red flag. I recognize that trait. I'm not going to hang out with that person anymore. So the fear of being vulnerable is a great thing, Monica. And I just want to encourage you to treasure that fear that you have of being vulnerable. It makes you human. For instance, babies, when they're laying there on their back, right, and their arms are out and their legs are out, they feel safe because they're laying flat on their back and they can see you. If you weren't in front of them, they would be afraid because they would feel vulnerable, like they were going to fall. So the fear of being vulnerable is something that we learn at an early age if we don't have object constancy, if we don't have our primary object in sight, and we don't learn that that primary object is going to come back. So everyone on this channel likely struggled with object constancy as a result of perhaps neglect or abuse or something like that in their younger years, like during the attachment time, like from birth to 3 or 4 years old. Perhaps your trauma happened, sometime before the age of 8. It's going to be natural for you here on this channel to be afraid of being vulnerable because you're human and you have experienced trauma. I don't mean that everyone in the whole wide world experiences trauma, but people that do experience trauma, especially in their younger years, have a fear of being vulnerable. So the way that we heal that is by remaining in alignment with ourselves and honoring our moral fiber, whatever it is that we value. We keep our life in line with those values. And if we do that enough times and we heal our attachment trauma through healthy relationships, usually a therapeutic relationship, we can heal that attachment trauma through a therapeutic relationship with someone who is a proxy for that primary object, that we can then mend those attachment issues that we had depending on our attachment style. And then the more and more and more and more you remain in alignment with yourself, in addition to healing that attachment trauma, you're not going to be as afraid to be vulnerable. And then you'll realize moving forward in your life that you have everything you need to create safety in your life because you've done it repeatedly. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense to you guys. And if you need me to go more in depth or explain something, there's a video we did on attachment, Harriet. Not the one that says suicide and attachment, because that doesn't go deep into attachment. There's another one that's just attachment. And if you could put that card up, that would be great. And then link all these down below in the comment section or in the description section. That would be awesome. John Harvey says, I can have a hard time figuring out if somebody being nice, if somebody's being nice or if they want something. This is not from every kind act, but the ones that I feel are being too nice. Yeah. John Harvey, I want to validate how difficult it can be to discern, especially if our trauma and our abuse happened within our family of origin. You guys don't miss this. If you're here on this YouTube channel because your family of origin is where your abuse or trauma happened, there is a deep, 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 deep betrayal that you have experienced in your life. And it's going to be very important for you to find a trauma-informed helping professional to help you and work closely with you in healing that betrayal so that you won't struggle for many more years and decades trying to figure out and discern who is being nice because they just want to be nice and who is being nice so that they can groom you, lure you, trick you, and exploit you. Because when our abuse happens within our family of origin, we are literally being betrayed by the one and only clump of people placed in our lives that were supposed to protect us and love us and be kind to us. And they fucked it up. They somehow decided that being mean to us or abusing us or lending us out or not protecting us was worth it for them. And you know what? Sucks to be them. They're the ones who sold their soul. Here we are all healing together. We're moving on with life. They have to live with themselves. So the people out there who decide to just not take seriously that they've been given a great privilege and a great honor and a great responsibility of taking care of another human and helping that human understand how to navigate through the world and lead on, grow up and lead and move on into a healthy life. They got one chance to do that. They blew it. Here you are learning now, and you are going to go on and you're going to heal and you're going to help a lot of people along the way, probably, John Harvey. Whoever messed it up and betrayed you and caused you all this trouble where you're going to have to now have trouble figuring out who is being nice just to be nice or who's being nice just to trick you. Like, you're going to learn that. You're going to learn it so well that you can help others learn. And whoever blew it and betrayed you, like, yeah, I'm glad you're here. It is going to be difficult. You are going to have a hard time figuring it out. But you know what? You keep showing up every week and you're going to figure it out. You're going to screenshot that list of unsafe character traits. And if you guys need, I'm going to give you one more opportunity to screenshot this. You guys need to screenshot this super quick because this is good, okay? You guys are going to screenshot this and you're going to recognize these character traits right here, okay? Unsafe, manipulative people, boom, screenshot that, you guys. Screenshot that. You keep that in your phone, okay? You keep that in your phone and you learn that and you memorize it backwards and forwards. And pretty soon, you're not going to have a hard time figuring it out because you're going to have the hairs on the back of your neck raise up. You're going to have a gut feeling. You're going to be able to tell. You're going to be able to know when someone's being nice or if they're being too nice to serve their own purposes. Poppy says, is there always, oh no, I misspoke. Poppy says, is there a way to trust our gut better or to discern without so much cognitive dissonance when we suspect that someone is being covertly manipulative? I feel as if I gaslight myself. I remember you mentioning this last week. It was either you or Willow that said you gaslight yourself. My answer to you, Poppy, and I think it might have been Willow last week. I can't remember. Was it Poppy or Willow last week that said that they gaslight themselves? Maybe it was the week before. At any rate, I can tell you this right now. You keep showing up, you keep learning, and the way you're going to trust yourself is by trial and error and remaining true to yourself, healing your intuition through congruence, and you will move through and past your cognitive dissonance. You will. It's not an if, okay? This is me looking at you, Poppy. It's not if, it's when. You will. You will be able to figure it out. And cognitive dissonance and gaslighting, it's going to all be in the past. No contact. No contact first. Second, you move through, you practice. You heal your intuition through congruence. No contact first, heal your intuition through congruence. Boom, you move through it. And then cognitive dissonance and gaslighting are a thing of the past. We don't gaslight ourselves. We don't have as much dissonance. When you do start, all of a sudden, once you've been no contact long enough and you've healed your intuition through congruence, not if, when, as soon as you start feeling someone gaslight you, or you feel yourself having this cognitive dissonance, like you're gaslighting yourself, you're going to have this feeling of like, wait a second, like something just shifted. What has changed? Have I let someone else that's toxic, that perhaps I didn't know was toxic? Did I let them into my life? Did someone that has been involved in my life lately, did they just shift into some sort of a strange toxic pattern? I need to take a look at that. It's once you start figuring stuff out, being healthy is like your new normal, and the dissonance and the gaslighting and the manipulation become the red flag. At first, safety feels unsafe. Healthy relationships at first feel unsafe. The quiet, the still, the peace. At first, if all you're used to is abuse, those things are triggering as hell. Like, that's why any good therapist worth their weight will tell you, if you're a trauma survivor, step one is not to be still, clear your mind, and set them off into a bag and tie the bag with a ribbon the color of your choice and all of that, because any therapist that is trauma informed knows that if you're a trauma survivor, peaceful, still, deep breathing, silence, and meditation and all of that is so effing triggering. Because in the abuse cycle, what comes before the trauma and the abuse? Silence. Silence is a precursor to violence in the abuse cycle. Period. Pop up the video that talks about the abuse cycle, or breaking the cycle of abuse, or whatever it's called. It's the abuse cycle, or breaking the abuse cycle, or something. And then link it up down in the comments below. What? Silence is a precursor to violence if you're used to the abuse cycle. And so what I want to tell you here is that if you haven't healed your trauma, silence is going to be triggering for you. Peace is going to be triggering for you. Healthy choices are going to feel unhealthy because your whole world's been backwards. But once you start to heal, and once you start to have healthy boundaries, and you start to make healthy choices, and you heal your intuition through congruence, and you surround yourself with healthy people and not toxic people, and your new normal is health and peace and life instead of trauma and survival, then when survival stuff or trauma stuff or unhealthy stuff comes along, it's going to, like, it will be contrasted starkly against the new landscape of your healthy life. I hope that makes sense of everything that I just said. Let me know. I Still Found Hope says, is how do I keep my headspace safe and my children safe while surrounded by unsafe people like my ex-partner, their father and his family, and even by my family? Ooh, this is going to be so painful for you. I Still Found Hope. You know, you got to start small. You need to start with you, and you need to find ways that you can find peace and you can choose to establish one healthy boundary at a time. And you need to cut off contact or shrink contact with those unsafe people like your ex-partner. And shrink contact as much as possible with his family and your family. If you can't minimize contact with your children and their dad or your ex-partner, and you can't minimize contact with your children and his family, then do what you can do. Control what you can control, which is you. And you can control if you allow your family to be involved in your life if they're toxic. So you might have to dwindle that off slowly, find a way to establish and maintain some healthy boundaries with your family, and model what establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries looks like for your children. And just affirm them. Let them know how much they matter. Be fully present for them. Be emotionally available for them. Ask them how they're doing. Not just surface level stuff like how was school, but like, you know, dig in with your kids and instill in them how valuable and important they are. These are practical things that you can do in the meantime until you can slowly but surely get away from these unsafe people. I had to do this very slowly over the course, like a slow bleed over the course of 5 years. So I understand that this is hard. This isn't a one and done, boom. This isn't easy. This is hard. But I had to do this over a course of 5 years, slowly. It was a slow burn, getting my son away from the toxicity and just pouring into him every day. And you want to know how I did that? I was fully present for him. I was emotionally available for him. I asked him engaging questions, not just yes or no questions, like, did you have a good day at school? Or how was school or whatever? Good. What'd you learn? Nothing. Like, not like that. Like, I mean, I really engaged with him, you know? Who'd you eat lunch with today? Were there any new kids? Did you have a new kid in your class today? Or, you know, who'd you walk home with? Or, you know, did you play intramurals at recess or, you know, at lunchtime? And, you know, how did third period go? I know you mentioned the other day that you were really stressed out about your pre-calculus exam coming up. Like, how did that go? And what about, you know, what about science? I know you had a test in science. I heard you were going to have a quiz. You talked about you know, and I would show him that I remembered the words he said to me. I would remember something every day, like one thing that he would mention, or I would ask him, like, what were your highs and lows today? And he'd be like, well, my high was probably that I got like a 90 on my, you know, vocabulary test. And what was your low? Well, like, Trevor was a jerk, or, you know, Travis was mean to me again today, and it was just really embarrassing, and he tried to, like, embarrass me in front of all these people, and blah, 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 blah. And so I would remember, like, you know, the next time he was going to have a vocabulary exam, I'd be like, let's see if you can get a 91, you know, remembering that he had gotten the 90, or, like, you know, asking him, hey, do you ever work it out between, you know, Trevor and Travis? Or are they still being jerks? Like, you just, there's no way to fake this. We just need to be there for our kids. We just need to be there for ourselves and show our kids that we matter so that they know how to tell themselves that they matter. We tell them that they matter. We show them that we care about ourselves. And then we break the cycle of intergenerational family dysfunction by being fully present. There's no shortcut. We just do it. We do what was never done for us. That's what we do. We do what was never done for us. And if it takes you 5 years or 10 years to get your kids away from the unhealthy unsafeness of your ex-partner and their family, then it takes you 5 or 10 years, but you did it. You didn't give up. Don't give up. You guys don't give up. It's so worth it. It is so, 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 so worth it to know that we do all we can to help our kids to break that cycle. Be a cycle breaker. Be the person that breaks the cycle of intergenerational family dysfunction if there is family dysfunction in your family. If it's been going on for generations, break that cycle. You guys can do this. I am a nobody. I am someone who just chose to do the hard stuff and break the cycle. And when I say hard, I'm talking lots of tears, lots of tears, lots of tears. It's hard. It's not easy, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. Super duper worth it. Excellent questions, you guys. Dana says, what about when you know someone is manipulative, but you don't want to be alone? Dana, I love you, girl. You know I love you. But if you're asking me what I would do, I would choose to be alone all day long instead of being with the manipulative person. Why? Because if I stay with that manipulative person, just because I don't want to be alone, I'll never believe in myself. I will go to the grave at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, and I will have never believed in myself. I will have never have known if I could have done it. Regret is painful. Don't live with regret. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in your recovery. I believe that you want to help people. I know you want to help people. I know you have a career that you love. I know that you have so much in you, so much strength, so much tenacity. You're so much stronger than you think you are. I urge you guys, I implore you to not stay with toxic, manipulative people because you're afraid of being alone. You'll never know if you could have done it unless you try. And you're worth it. Even if it's not for anybody else, if it's not for your children, if it's not for anybody, you're worth it. I did it for my son, but I'm glad I did it for him because I was worth it. I was worth it and I didn't know I was worth it. I didn't know I was worth it till much, much later. I did it for him, but I'm glad I did it for him because now I'm reaping the benefits. Lynn says, why is it so hard to stop self-sabotage when we know we are doing it? Little off topic, so I'm going to refer you to a video. Harriet, if you could pop up the YouTube card or link down below if I'm out of cards, the video I did on self-sabotage. There's also one on imposter syndrome. That they're kind of like two sides of the same coin. Self-sabotage, or no, procrastination. My bad. Procrastination, Harriet. Self-sabotage, procrastination, not imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is closely related, but procrastination and self-sabotage are very, very, very closely related, like two sides of the same coin. And that video will help you a lot, Lynn. It will help you. I'm going to stay on the topic of unsafe people tonight. Unsafe people and manipulative, toxic people, and how do we know if they're safe or unsafe? And then please continue to come back, and please, please, please keyword search the videos that you're looking for on certain keywords, or ask the people in the chat box, because many of them have been here for years and they know how to get you to a video that we've already done. Like if we did like an hour-long lecture or a Q&A on a certain topic, I want you to get the help you deserve. Heroes Don't Wear Capes says, I ask for no presents on my birthday. It reminds me of being exploited. One friend continues to buy me a gift anyway, every year. I always refuse to accept the gift, but I feel like an asshole. You know what? Heroes Don't Wear Capes. I hear you. I'm the same way. I have a very, 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 very hard time receiving gifts. For the same reason. It's a deep thing for me. Gifts were always something that people gave me to lure me into doing something for them. So when I receive a gift from someone, a monetary donation, or a gift or something, I want so badly to be the gracious recipient of what it is that someone's giving me, because I am grateful for that person's thoughtfulness. But I have a hard time receiving it. This is why I have to employ people and pay people to receive gifts and donations and things and deposit things into banks and do all of that. And I'm just not, I haven't gotten to that place where I'm able to afford to do that yet, but I will. My husband is in charge of going to the bank. He's in charge of making the deposits. I send out my own invoices right now, but like not for long. I'm going to be employing someone to do that. Like I can't be the person until I work through it in EMDR and a couple of different modalities that I'm doing, like some touch therapy and some expressive modalities, but mostly EMDR. I'm going to be working through those blocks that I have that are exactly what you've described. It's hard to describe. I don't recommend you telling this friend unless you really know them very, very well and you want to share this with them. But it may or may not be appropriate for you to tell them that you were sexually exploited as a child, and so gifts are very triggering for you, and it is painful for you who happen to be working through PTSD. Maybe this person isn't emotionally available or very aware. It doesn't sound like they are respectful of your boundaries already because you've asked them not to, and they continually plow over your boundaries and continue to give you gifts anyway. So like perhaps establishing and maintaining a healthy boundary with someone that is a boundary buster, like this person might not be a very good friend. Like maybe they're trying to be a good friend, but it sounds like they're giving you a gift because it feels good to them to give a gift. I am not good at receiving gifts. I have a hard time receiving gifts. My husband knows I don't like gifts. My family knows I don't like gifts. I have a very, very, very small list of things that I like. One of them being an electric toothbrush, which my husband already bought me, and now he continues to like buy me the new little heads that go on the electric toothbrush. 2 is a book from my favorite author, which my son gets me every year on my birthday, and I'm grateful for that. 3 being a certain fragrance that I like to wear, which is called J'adore from Christian Dior. It's my most favorite fragrance. That is something that my sister-in-law now gets me because she knows it's my favorite. Anything else is like an Amazon gift card, maybe. I don't know. An Amazon gift card is great. Or I like Tiffany's, like Tiffany and Company. It was something fancy that I got for the very first time on my birthday in the year 2000 from my boss, Jennifer. And now like I have like this beautiful, these little earrings that I got from Tiffany's. Got those. Like very few things. I don't like gifts. And it's not that I'm not the gracious recipient of someone's thoughtfulness. I'm so blessed by someone's thoughtfulness, but I have a very, very, very hard time remaining fully present in my body when someone gives me a gift. So I'm telling you all of that to say you're not alone. You're not weird. You're not a freak. It's something that a lot of people struggle with, and that a lot of people take a lot of time through a lot of different modalities like touch therapy, expressive modalities, EMDR, in which you show up and you make new neural pathways and you get a new brain. And you work through trauma because you were exploited. These are things that are not your fault. You didn't wake up one day and be like, I'm going to go get me some trauma today. I'm going to go get exploited so that 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, I can still be struggling to receive a birthday present. No, you didn't ask for this. This isn't your fault. So if you can't tell this person to just stop and really think that they're going to listen to you, because it doesn't look like they listen to you. What I would encourage you to do is to not call yourself an asshole, because you're not the asshole in this particular situation. In fact, the assholes in this particular situation are the people who exploited you and that caused your PTSD and that is still affecting you years and decades later. And kind of maybe the person that continues to give you the gifts even after you ask them not to, they might be an asshole. Even though they might not be, because they're giving you a gift, unless they're doing it for selfish reasons just to fuck with you because you've asked them nicely not to over and over and over again. So you're not the asshole and you're not alone. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and I promise you that if you continue to work, you will heal. So I'm hoping that was helpful. It might not have been, but I hope it was helpful. Willow says, I tend to be hypervigilant and I read people's behavior to pick up on small stuff. How do you handle when you know something is wrong by their behavior, but when you ask, they say, oh, it's nothing? This will be the shortest answer of the night, Willow. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. The reason you tend to be hypervigilant and read people's behavior, there's a very small list of reasons why people do that. At the top of the list is because it kept you alive when you were little. So in order to survive when you were little, you had to read people's behavior and pick up on small nuances so as to not get abused. Now that could look like many different things, so that you didn't get neglected, so that you didn't get yelled at, so that you didn't get looked at funny and have love withheld from you, which means oxygen basically, because a child can't survive without love and approval because they will die. They don't understand, because if something painful and bad is happening over there on that person's face, you are me and I am you and we are one, because I'm a child and I don't understand that we are not the same thing. Bad means that I am bad when you're a child. So that could probably be the only reason you read people's behavior and pick up on small stuff. Unless, of course, you were a teenager or a young adult and something horrible happened to you that you have reasoned in your mind that if you would have paid closer attention, something horrible wouldn't have happened to you. Or it could be a combination of the two things. But the bottom line to all of this is that when they say it's nothing, it either isn't nothing and you're smart to pay attention, or it is nothing and you will need to do deeper work with your therapist who is hopefully trauma informed. So you're not doing it for no reason. You're doing it for a reason, and you're probably right. Trust your gut. And if it continues to be a problem and you continue to realize, oh, I was off base there, that person wasn't unsafe and I just thought they were, then work with a trauma-informed therapist and let them know that you have some triggers and you have some trauma from your childhood that is showing up in your adult life, and it's causing you frustration and that you want to work through it. Lynn Kent says, how do we seek personal growth when from childhood has been abused? Have no direction on the scale of Maslow authenticity. Okay, we will go into a totally different video. We'll have to do a different video on Maslow authenticity. And that's a little bit next level. I can tell by the way you formed the question that you've done some work on you and that you're probably working with a helping professional, or you could be a helping professional. You're not going to be able to seek personal growth when you've been abused from childhood if you are still currently living in an abusive or toxic situation. If you are living with someone who is manipulative or toxic, or you're still in touch with abusers from your childhood now in your present day life, step one is going to be going low contact to no contact with those toxic and abusive people from your childhood first, and then second, learning how to establish and maintain healthy boundaries within yourself, and what you allow and what you don't allow into your life. And then that will morph naturally and organically into you looking for ways to grow and to heal. You'll be on a constant path of healing and growing, healing and growing, healing and growing. Let's heal more. Let's grow more. Let's heal more. Let's grow more. Let's heal more. Let's grow more and help other people. But it starts with getting away from the toxic, abusive people from your childhood. If you are still in contact with any of them, it will be impossible for you to have direction or seek personal growth, because your subconscious is still in a state of survival mode. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Questions are closed for tonight. That was amazing. That was seriously like a really, really, really great discussion. I'm thrilled. I am thrilled. Ooh. Oh, you guys, I just got an email. You guys are amazing. I just got an email from one of you. I normally never touch my phone and like look at anything, but it like popped up in front of my face. So I just want to say that you guys are amazing. Your emails continue to blow me away. Your level of self-awareness and desire to heal and the level of support that you show one another is just beyond anything I've ever seen. I'm just so honored to be a part of this community. It's like, it's just unbelievable to me. So, thank you. Just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Special thank you to Poppy. Starting next week, she will be our Monday night intern. She will be making sure that everyone has access to all of the crisis information all the time, all the hotlines, all the trigger warnings, all the information you could possibly need to want to just feel better and stay safe during our weekly live discussions. So once again, email Lisa if you want to get plugged in to an online safe group that's free. And I'm hoping that next week I feel better, you guys. I'm hoping next week that my voice is back completely. I have so much on my to-do list, and I just haven't been able to finish it because I haven't been feeling 100%. So if you guys are praying people, pray for my lungs to be free from all the stuff that's in them, because it's driving me just a little bit crazy and I'm not able to show up in the way that I really want to show up for you guys. So I will see you next week, next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, live. If you're here watching a replay, thanks for sticking around to the very end. I look forward to just staying connected with you guys and providing more resources for you to heal and for you to help others heal. And it's amazing. You guys are absolutely incredible. So I will see you next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I just want to say thank you to all of you that show up every single week and how much you support one another. I'm just honored to be here with you guys. So thanks for your thoughts, your emails, your prayers, everything. You guys are amazing. Love you guys. See you next week. Bye.